Good morning, Pomfret. Your first chapel speaker of the day loves eating ramen. Your second chapel speaker had a 10-inch titanium rod in his back for 3 years. Your third chapel speaker has 6 toes on his left foot. And your fourth chapel speaker has lived in Siberia for most of his life. Your chapel speakers of the day are David Zhang, Keegan Rybacki, Lucas Lovett, and Matvei Arefev. Enjoy.
Good morning, Pomfret. My name is David, and I'm a 3-year senior here on the hilltop. Skates slicing through the ice, making the ksh, ksh, ksh sound. The hockey stick sweeping across the ice, making the tap, tap, tap sound. I took the puck behind the net, skated across the blue line, made a quick forehand to backhand, dangled through an opponent, and went straight to the goal. Suddenly, a turnover on the attacking zone blue line. 3-on-1, they scored. My earliest memory of hockey was stumbling on the ice like a baby penguin. The regular-sized ice rink was gigantic to my 5-year-old self. After falling and rising over and over again, I circled the rink tirelessly with enthusiasm. Now as I am older, I know a lot of my treasurable memories have happened on the ice, and I realized that hockey is more than a sport to me. Before studying abroad in the US, I was an active member of the Beijing Little Wolf Hockey Club. My teammates and I often traveled to different cities for tournaments, among which the last game in the Hong Kong International Ice Hockey Tournament left me with the most profound memory. As champions of the Bentham Group, we earned a chance to challenge the second place in the minor midget group for a special honor. Everyone was excited and wanted to show the best of himself. We were scoring many goals. However, our overconfidence soon superseded our need to play defense, and I even forgot my role as a defenseman. Unsurprisingly, we had lost. You lost us the game. No, he dropped it past and missed a shot. You let yourself and your team down. In the locker room, we were mad at each other. Our coach came in angrily, yelling. There was absolutely no unity. Each and every one of you decided to hawk the puck and then lose it seconds later. On the bus ride home, I pondered the game. Where did it go wrong and what were the team's mistakes? In the mix of complex feelings, I realized we were being inconsiderate and trying to show off our skills had lost us the game. After everyone grasped the insight that each position is an irreplaceable piece of the puzzle, each player focused on performing his unique function during practices and games. With every piece in the right place, our team performed well as a completed puzzle, ready to take on any difficulties. This is the mentality I bring to my life. Over the years, I won some games and I lost others. I met powerful opponents but never lacked the courage to face them. While still carrying the excitement when meeting challenges, I put in more time in practice and preparation. This mindset helped me overcome the challenging transition of studying abroad alone. I quickly adapted to the US way of studying through frequently communicating with my classmates and going extra help hours. In the last game of my junior year, I once again intercepted an attack and took away the puck. But instead of focusing on scoring the goal myself, I made a crisp pass to my teammate who scored. Cheering for the victory, I was happy that the forward scored, that it helped, and that our team won the game. Thank you, Pomfret.
Good morning, Pomfret. For many people, myself included, Dunkin' Donuts is considered a small but important luxury we can look forward and rely on. Every day, they are open, serving customers across the country and around the world their delicious coffee, soft, chewy bagels, and mouth-watering donuts. And while some of the employees don't always smile, and they may sometimes not get your order correct, I do believe they truly care about your satisfaction. And when everything goes as planned and I drive away, sipping the nectar of the gods from my cardboard cup, my worries of the day fall away and my mind begins to wander. Have you ever given any thought to the slogan, America runs on Dunkin'? No? Me either, until my sophomore year. I was on my way home from Peru, somewhere between Colombia and Panama. Our extended flight and long layover leaving me tired, hungry, and thirsty. I knew I needed some nourishment. I saw various vendors selling their unique foods to the area, fried corn at one, yellow dried potato at another, but none really saying to me. To be honest, I was also seriously questioning how my stomach might respond to these new delicacies. I decided to play it safe and look for something I was more familiar with. Then, finally, an illuminated sign came into view further down the long airport hallway. Dunkin' Donuts. I was ecstatic. I hurried and got in line, eager to place my order and find my happy place. When it was my turn, the vendor asked my name. Keegan, I replied. Tegan, he asked. I corrected him, to which he replied, oh, Keegan. At that point, I simply acquiesced and accepted my new name. He could call me whatever he wanted, as long as I could walk away with my delicious coffee. He pointed to the other end of the counter, signaling that I should wait over there. I obeyed, went where he indicated, and waited for my coffee. Some time went by, and I became a bit antsy. I looked over the counter and was amazed at how methodical the man was, carefully measuring the sugar, stirring in the cream, pushing the lid on snug to keep the contents where it belonged, and uncapping a black Sharpie. He paused. I could see the confusion in his face as he looked up towards the heaven for an answer, trying to figure out how to spell my name. Then suddenly, a light went off in his head. He scribbled something onto my cup, walked over to me, smiled, and handed me the cup. I thanked him and shuffled over to the table that was right next to the store. I settled in and did what I always do. I read the order printed on the side of the cup to make sure everything was correct, which it was. Courtesy and a correct order. It must have been my lucky day. But this time, there was a name written on the cup as well. Keep on. As the time went on and the coffee slowly disappeared and my travel troubles began to incrementally melt away, that's when my mind began to wander to that random thought. The slogan, America runs on Dunkin'. At that moment, I couldn't help but wonder, what is the Dunkin' Donuts slogan in other countries? Is it Peru runs on Dunkin'? Does Papua New Guinea also run on Dunkin'? I have to confess, me being me, I thought about this question for far too long, like the 8-hour flight home too long. I wondered if anyone had ever thought about it before. Maybe I was onto something big. Maybe I, Keegan Rybacki, would forever alter the Dunkin' Donuts slogan worldwide. People around the globe would see my name, Keep On, printed on the Dunkin' illuminated signs. But eventually, the plan landed, the slogan remained the same, and my name and all its variations were not printed on the front cover of any magazines. News stations never approached me. Nobody asked me for an autograph. Life was what it always had been. And I'm okay with that. Because sometimes it doesn't take a life-changing discovery, fame, or fortune to make you happy. Sometimes it's the little things. Maybe even just a great cup of coffee served with a smile. My name is Keegan Rybacki, sometimes known as Keegan Rybacki, a 3-year senior here on Pomfret's Hilltop.
How's it going, Pomfret? My name is Lucas Lovett, and I'm a 2-year senior on the Hilltop. Today I just want to talk about how an experience I had in middle school changed my perspective on life. Ever since I was a baby, I played sports and was taught to work hard in school. So naturally, school and sports were the two most important aspects of my life when it came to my self-worth. The simple-minded view of life would be changed after going through middle school, where I probably had some of the roughest, most confusing days of my life and truly didn't know who I was. While my grades were always good in 7th grade, I failed in making the modified basketball team, something I trained literally hours a day for. Out of all the sports I played, basketball was the one I spent the most time on. I would play by myself and with my friends all day. Then I would go home and watch NBA 2K YouTubers. Then I would play NBA 2K until it was time to sleep. And then I would continue to watch NBA 2K YouTube until I passed out. So as you can imagine, not making the team absolutely crushed my spirit. When all my other friends made the team, I felt left out, not good enough, and I didn't even want to play basketball or even 2K anymore, something I loved. The setback hit me hard and my grades fell, and I continued on this negative path into 8th grade. In my 8th grade year, despite my crushing experience the year before, I was determined to try out for the team again, this time more confident that I had improved enough to make it. Once again, I was cut from the team. After not making it in 8th grade, I was so ashamed of myself, my mood was horrible, I didn't even want to eat, and my friends were drifting apart. After finishing middle school, I left my small public school I went to a much larger private school, Iona Prep. The school had far more athletes than my previous school, so when I walked in, I instantly knew I would never make the team here, and somehow it made me feel better. Just the realization that there are kids so much bigger, taller, and better than me at this particular sport, and better than the kids who made the team at my old school at this sport, that it wouldn't even matter in a decade or even now if I didn't make the modified basketball team at my old school, because at one point or another my heart would be crushed by the reality that I wasn't good enough. Not only this, but after a year at Iona, I ended up not playing any of the sports I played in middle school and started wrestling and lifting weights my sophomore year. For me, sports had become a hobby, as they should be for someone like me, and this new realization allowed me to focus on schoolwork and building good friendships that I still have despite my change of high schools. This massive block of my view on life that was finally removed allowed me to see areas where I needed to grow up and mature, something I didn't do much of in middle school and am still working on to this day. What I hope you can take away from the speech is that sometimes that thing that might seem like the end of the world or a big deal now probably won't be significant whatsoever in a few years, months, or even weeks. Many of us seniors are worried about going to college and meeting new people, but I know it will all work out, and it's just the perspective of someone moving on to the next step in life that makes things nerve-wracking. Thanks for listening to what I had to say.
Hello. So I don't really know where to start with that, but I guess I will say the same kind of like line as everyone else says in the beginning of the chapel speeches. So hello, my name is Matvei Arefev, and I'm a 3-year senior here on the Hilltop. So it's especially hard to give this type of speeches online and even harder to listen to them. So I understand this, and since I myself rarely listen to people's chapel speeches, even at our beloved chapel, I'm giving you my allowance to turn off the sound on my chapel speech or like completely turn off your computer screen and just go do something else. Something that's going to be more meaningful to you and going to give you more value from your point of view. So I'm much obliged for everyone who decided to stay to listen to what I have to say in front of you guys, even though I'm not exactly in front of you, but, well, I guess over the computer screen. So last year I got very inspired by Andrew Bernal's chapel speech, but like the same art performance won't work twice, same as the same joke won't work twice. So I'm going to talk about something different, something that is meaningful, especially to me. So I'm going to talk about value. So what is value exactly? So according to the first definition on Google, obviously, it is the regard that something is held to deserve, the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. So in my understanding, it's kind of like a little bit different. It's value is that something that is best for you, something that is useful, and the best kind of like usage of your time, like your own internal resources. So after taking the mindfulness class this term, I had realized the importance of value even deeper. So it's very important to always be aware of what are you doing, why are you doing it, and what consequences will it bring with it. So let me explain what I mean by this. So every action that you are doing, even like washing the dishes, you should be mindful of why are you doing it and how much it will take and what value it will bring to you. Let's say that washing dishes takes you about like 7 to 10 minutes, but you have to think if that action is necessary. Let's say if you can't feel comfortable and be your best self without having the dishes clean, or because your mom asked you to clean them, or if you don't have anything else clean to eat from, then it's definitely a good use of your time. But if you need to write a 3,500 words paper, or a test to study to, or even both, then you have to really think if those 7 to 10 minutes of washing the dishes is necessary, and you can't find someone else to do that for you, or wash the dishes as a break from your working time and like as a way to relax. So hopefully you kind of like got my example and you got an understanding of how I believe you should think about every action in your life. So that is why I'm like the big hater of social media, even though I use them like Snapchat, Instagram, and like TikTok specifically. So I just like try to limit my time using like Snapchat and Instagram, and I don't like watch TikTok at all. So whenever I ask people why they watch TikTok, they say that to waste time. And from my point of view, it's completely unacceptable phrase, like waste time. Just think about it, like waste time. So time is like the most valuable resource that we have, because there are expressions like time is money. I don't have anything against social media if you go there to spend your time, not waste it in a good way, such as like to have fun or to relax, or like to see what your friends are doing, like the ones that you haven't talked to or seen for a while. Because it's still very important to constantly do your best work to be the best version of yourself, and you can't do this without relaxing and like having fun. So I hope that this was even like a little bit interesting for you. So I'm very thankful for all the value that Pomfret has given me, and it was definitely a good spending of my time here with the development of essential knowledge and lifelong friendships. Thank you, Pomfret. Goodbye.